Hello everyone. Today we are starting fluid statics, one of the most important chapters from fluid mechanics. Okay, by now you should be knowing what is meant by fluid, a substance which doesn't have particular shape or a substance which undergoes continuous deformation. We consider fluids as gases as well as liquids. Okay, now statics. You might be knowing from engineering mechanics, static is a condition when the body is at rest. When the body is at rest, then the acceleration of that body should be zero. Okay, if this is your body, then the acceleration of that body should be zero. If the acceleration is zero, then you'll have two conditions: either velocity is zero or the velocity is constant. Okay, you know that the rate of change of velocity is acceleration. So if the velocity is zero, then acceleration will be zero, and if it is constant also, that is uniform velocity, then also the acceleration is zero. Hope this is clear. What is fluid statics? It is the study of the fluid when the fluid is at rest or moving with the constant velocity. The next important topic in the fluid statics is fluid pressure or hydrostatic pressure. Okay, generally pressure we define it as a normal force acting per unit area. Okay, if this is your block and a force F is acting from here, and there's some area here, normal area A, then the pressure will be defined as force per that unit normal area. Okay, similarly we define a hydrostatic pressure. Okay, suppose this is some lake and this is the top surface filled with water. Consider this point as B. I'm considering this point as B at a depth h, okay, from the top surface, and as it is infinitesimally small, let's define an area dA. Okay, the area of that point is dA, and it is at a depth h. Okay, now there's some fluid above this point. Okay, there's some fluid above this point, and there's some fluid below it. There's some fluid to the side of it, to the left side or the right side of it, and every direction it is having fluid, right? So the fluid above it has got some weight. Okay. That weight force will exert some pressure, right? Similarly, the fluid which is below it will resist that weight, right? It will resist that weight, so it will also exert some pressure. So this point B, it is in stressed condition, or it is being exerted by some pressure. Okay. In Pascal's law is study that this pressure is being acted in from all the directions. This pressure is of constant magnitude. The pressure which this point is experiencing from all the directions, we will study that in Pascal's law that it is of constant magnitude. Okay, as this pressure is of constant magnitude, then it is a scalar quantity. Okay, sorry, this pressure, it is a scalar quantity. It has just got magnitude, and in all the directions it is same. Okay, suppose this is your some trough and it is filled with water. Then consider this point, then it will be acted by pressure like this. Okay, and it is same in all the directions. It is having constant magnitude in all the directions. Okay, provided you define some depth. Okay, as the depth increases, then the pressure increases. Okay, as the weight of the fluid column above it is more, then as the fluid is more, then weight of that fluid will be more, so the pressure will be more. Now we'll brief some difference between pressure and stress. Okay, a stress, it is a tensor quantity. Okay, what is a tensor quantity and what is a scalar quantity? Okay, you know scalar quantity and a vector quantity. A scalar quantity is having just magnitude and no direction, and in vector quantity you define both magnitude as well as direction. That is, that quantity will change in different directions. The pressure, it is constant from all the directions in a fluid. We are terming it as a scalar quantity. What is stress? It is generally you term it as a restoring force per area. Okay, unit normal area. If it is a compressive stress or normal stress, then normal area. If If it is a shear stress, then tangential area. Okay, so this is a normal area and this is normal force. For stress, you need to define the magnitude. Okay, you need to define the magnitude. You need to define the sense in which it is acting. The sense, or either it is a compressive or tensile. Okay, the third thing which you need to define is the plane on which it is acting. Okay, let me do some explanation for this. If consider this a block and it is being loaded like this, consider this a 1D loading condition, then this block at different planes it will have different stresses. Okay, if you consider this plane, it will have some stress. Okay, if you consider this plane like this, it will have some stress, some different stress. Okay, I think it is not clear. I'll draw it once again. Sorry for that. Suppose this is your body or a block, then this is one plane, right? Like this. This is one plane, and this is also one plane, right? Like this. 1 minute. Okay, can you understand this? This is one plane. Similarly, this is another plane. Okay, so for each and every plane you'll have some different stress. So you need to define on which plane or the angle of the plane to know the magnitude of the stress. Okay, so for the stress, you need to define the magnitude, you need to define the sense or the direction, and you need to define the plane on which it is acting. So the stress is a tensor quantity, that is you need three things to define, and the pressure is a scalar quantity, you just need one thing to define. Okay, that is the magnitude itself, as the pressure is constant in all the directions for a particular depth. Okay, for a particular depth the pressure is constant.